Kirk Tuckwall here with Mastermind the Market, your real estate stats for the Twin Cities area. Well, rates are up and showings are up. What exactly do I mean by that? Well, let's dive into the data and take a look. Showings per week, per listing, median sale price range, Minneapolis and St. Paul area, up week over week. So we are making a bit of a rebound here. We had that high week back on the week of February 6th at 10.07 average showing rate. Now it's coming back. We had that big drop off down to the 8.12, so down by almost 20% there. Slowly coming back though, up to a 9.19. This is still tracking behind last year though by 9%. Some good news though for sellers out there. The total showing activity jumped up as well. We saw a 38.39 up to a 47.98. But again, still tracking behind last year's 53.77. Looking at some other data points in the marketplace, new listings barely up, so not a whole lot of help to buyers out there. 1,100 up to 1,104. Pending sales on the rise, 915 up to 964, and that's bringing that inventory down even farther, where we were at a 4,551 up to a 44.6, down to a 44.69. Now, we know looking back at years past, we typically don't see that inventory rising, especially looking at last year. It didn't pick up until the beginning of April, and then big movements didn't start happening until June. So for buyers out there looking for that inventory to start rising, that's kind of the timeline. You have a few more weeks to wait until we start seeing that number most likely tick up. Okay, I mentioned rates on the rise. Yeah, so we did drop off from the week of February 17th down to March 3rd, but we've been seeing some movement in the last few days, jumping back up to a 3.85, and that's with the 0.8 in fees. So without that, you might be seeing rates closer to 4.125, depending on the program, maybe even 4.25. I know yesterday I had seen some rates, depending on the lenders, as high as 4.375. And we can see that that rate is still moving even today. So this is the last week of movement on the bond yield, and yeah, still on the rise there. So it'll be interesting to see how next week plays out. So all of this though, where does it put us on that market meter? Well, as I mentioned in last week's video, we are still going to probably stay in that extreme seller's market range for the next 30 days. And that is exactly where we're at when we look at our market meter graph. Yeah, still at a 10, and it's probably going to be a while before we see that peel off. Again, that 30-ish day timeline before that might start to ease, and rates will play into that. So if rates stay low, that may stay at a 10 longer. If they start to pick up, that'll probably peel off, kind of like we saw with the activity slowing down a few weeks ago. So hopefully you found this information valuable for sellers. I would probably jump to getting your place on the market within that next 30-day timeline if you can. And again, depending on price point and area, you want to have that conversation with your agent, see where the market meter is for your specific sector. And for buyers out there, just be patient. This is something we experience every year at this time. If we look back at last year on the market meter, we can see the exact same thing happening at about exactly the same time. The good news, as I mentioned, it's probably going to peel off a little earlier than it did last year, where it went all the way into June before it came off the extreme market. So the big thing out there is just be patient with the market right now. Look again for those Monday, Tuesday homes, and just be extra diligent if you're looking at those ones that are coming out Thursday or Friday and the heavy multiple offers, that you're really figuring out what that home's worth and what that home is worth to you. Again, as always, if you have any questions, you can reach out. Take care, be safe, and have a great week.